So our project and our supplies. Yummy Christmas from the annual catalog. It's an 11-piece photopolymer stamp set. Coordinates with the cuckoo clock dies from the annual catalog. This is just the most fun little stamp set. My little Debbie gingerbread soft cookie was just dying to be paired up with that. My sentiment on the back pocket, have a sugar sprinkled season. How perfect is that with this sugar sprinkled dude? Is from Itty Bitty Christmas. I love this greeting set. This is in the holiday catalog also. I used a couple of supporting dies. Here are our wingmen. We got little layering squares. That's for our scallop in the background. So when you take the gift card out of there, it is a cute place to print somebody's name or write somebody's name or put a little message. That's the scallop. And we used the second largest one. It's the 2 3/4 inch scallop. And then I used my stitched shapes dies. My stitched shapes dies. We use the smallest little circle. And that one is, let's see here. That is D, which is 1 3/8. Okay. And then I also used my layering circles dies. And I used this G size. This is 1 7/16, and it's your second smallest. All right, so those are our wingman die sets. What else do I want to tell you about? Ink. Very simple. We're going to do Memento Tuxedo Black for all of our stamping. And we're going to color in with Poppy Parade, Granny Apple. I've got light and dark, so the combos of all of these. Daffodil Delight combo pack and Crumb Cake combo pack. So that's ink for this project. We talked about stamps. Let's look at the papers. Now, I just literally engineered this morning for you guys, not too long ago. So what I do when I'm making a project for you, I start with what it is that I want to package. And then I take the size of that and work backwards into the type of box that I want. And I always work with this like paper bag cardstock. So I'll take a picture of my template for you. But it's a piece of crumb cake cardstock. The base of this easel is a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and it's 4 1/4 by 11. All right, so that's our base. This photograph will be in the project sheet with all of the measurements, where to score at and such. Then I wanted a pocket on the other side of the easel. So this little pocket right here requires another little piece of crumb cake cardstock. And this one is 3 1/2 by 1 1/2, I believe. Let me just check my 1 1/2 measurements. I didn't write down the pocket piece. Yeah, 3 1/2 by 1 1/2. So those are the pieces for the base of your box, okay? And I'll write this all out for you, and you can print it off and keep it. Then the designer series papers for this. Inside my box on the front, I have a little piece of Granny Apple Green. This is from the 6x6 Brights collection, and it's this little harlequin or lattice or diamond shape pattern. It's back of the gingham. This one is 3 by 3 1/4. And then the other piece for the front is the gingham in Poppy Parade, and this one is 3 by 1 1/4. Now the piece for the back is a little bit smaller. This is 3 inches by 1 inch, so don't get those guys confused. You'll need a piece for your front pocket and your back pocket, and then you'll need a piece for the inside. All right? I've got some Whisper White already cut with the scallop. I've got some Whisper White that's already cut with the stitched circle, and I've got some Granny Apple Green that's already cut with the scallop circle. All right, so those are my die cut pieces. And then I've got Whisper White cardstock here. This is a scrap just to stamp on, really. And mine's about 4 by 6, I'd say. It might be a little bit more than what we need. So this is for stamping our gingerbread, our gumdrops, and our holly. Color those in. So let's do that. Why don't we just jump in and stamp? I've got my gingerbread house here from Yummy Christmas, and I'm inking up with Memento Tuxedo Black. And I found that my wreath, for some reason, doesn't want to catch the ink as well. It's right in the center of the stamp there. So I'm going to also bring the ink pad to that wreath and just make sure I get good coverage. I'm using my Stampin' Pierce mat, which gives me best results with a photopolymer stamp. All right, here we go. Hoping for better. Oh, perfect. See? Second time's a charm. 2 sides to every paper. We're good. All right, then we need 3 gumdrops. I love these little gumdrops. I could make a card with just gumdrops. I don't know why I have such a affinity for them. They're fun to color. They're cute on projects. All right, and then the holly. So our Stampin's done. All right, so I am right now just doing a section of my gingerbread house. I'll do about 1/3 of it, and I just scribbled in with the dark crumb cake. Now I'm going to scribble over the dark with the light crumb cake. And I'm keeping this ink really wet. And then we're going to scribble out from the edges and in towards the center, and see how it lightens as we go. And that's okay. That's the only shading that we're doing. We want to keep the ink really wet as we go, so we're going to work in small areas, about 1/3 of the house at a time. And then right here we need a little bit of light. And then I'm just going to, see, look, here we're going back to dry ink. So instead of stopping there, I'll go all the way underneath the window so we don't end up with a watermark. I'm going to color in the door with just light crumb cake, using little circles. And that's the hardest part of the coloring, or I should say kind of tedious part of the coloring, but look how good it looks. All right, now I'm going to go back to my dark crumb cake. I'm going to color in my walk around the little stones. And I'm going to color in my gingerbread guy with the dark crumb cake. I want him to stand out against the house, so he'll be all dark. I find it pretty relaxing, but I also like to fussy cut. And when I worked in a restaurant, I served tables for, I don't know, 10, 12 years of my life. I thought it was fun. I love people. I loved to roll silverware too. All right, I think that that's pretty good, and we've got all of our crumb cake done. And let's do some granny apple next. All right, so granny apple, I'm going to do my light granny apple in my wreath here. I'm avoiding those little ornaments because I'm going to color them red and yellow and leave a couple of them white too. And then I'm going to take my dark granny apple and just go with a very light hand around the center and along the edge. I'm not even doing a complete line. I'm just letting it skip as I go. And then I'll bring in the light to just melt those 2 shades together. Simple, simple shading. And then we're gonna do the same thing in our gumdrop here. A little bit, shade the side and touch where the 2 come together. Let's just keep on going with the granny apple while we've got it. If you're going to make more than one of these, you might as well kind of adapt this method of coloring where you take and do all of your crumb cake, all of your granny apple, all of your poppy parade. Go kind of up the center here and into the center. So see how my shadow lies kind of at the inside. And bring them together. Circles are great for bringing together the 2 shades. Little tiny circles. Keeping the ink wet. And then let's do a gumdrop too. I'm going to scribble in the whole thing with the light granny apple. You see, it's not even super even or completely saturated. That's okay, because when you go back and melt them together, then you can add a little bit of extra. I like how it looks a little bit more like a gumdrop if you let it have varying saturation. All right, so there's our granny apple. I think I'm going to grab this little candy over here and make this one granny apple too. And anything else we want granny apple? I think that's pretty good. I think we're granny appled. All right, then Poppy Parade. This guy's gonna get Poppy Parade buttons. The other guy's got granny apple. So it's the last day before Christmas break for the kids. My middle child is in high school. She's already home, and she has got a bedroom full of friends. So if it gets a little loud in here, it's because Christmas break has begun around here. We're actually wondering if more of her friends are going to descend upon me any minute. I'm just kind of picking every other segment and coloring these little candies. And again, no shading, just color them in. I'm going to do some shading for my bow, but I'm going to do it backwards. I'm going to go in with the dark and just shadow below. See how I did that? And then I'll fill in hard with the light Poppy Parade. And then the berries, let's do those guys. I'm going to treat them like they're all one big berry. Kind of shadow where they all meet together. And then fill it in nice and easy. And then our gumdrop. Let's do our little candy and our little gumdrop here. See how this would be if you were doing multiples, so you were doing 6 for your table or for the office or something. If you did all of your Poppy Parade at one time and then all of your Granny Apple Green at one time, all of your crumb cake at one time, just do all 6 of them at once. It'll really make this an easier job. All right, a little dark Poppy Parade in the wreath. And now let's move to Daffodil Delight. All right, I'm going to take my light Daffodil Delight and I'm going to do the windows. They're going to have like a soft glow. We're not going to shade that in at all. We're just going to let the windows look like there's light coming out. Little gumdrop. I'm going to shade that one with, and then we're going to shade this little candy in that area. Those will just kind of blend themselves. We'll touch it. Then on my wreath, I'm going to take the dark. I'm just going to kind of hit some of these every other lights. And now our gumdrop. I'm going to go in with the light Daffodil Delight. Shade with the dark. Like we did more like for the Granny Apple, where we'll have a little bit less of the dark. I want it to look kind of gummy, like candy, a little translucent. That's it. All right, let's get a die cut machine here. Do a little cutting. In my new little space over here in the corner. Not sure how this is going to fit in the screen. I think we got it. All right. I like to cut as many things as I can in one pass. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my holly. Now, remember, Stampin' Up! New dies, you're going to line them up so that the edge of the die touches the stamped image. And I got my little gumdrop here. Let's get that guy lined up. It's going to take me 3 passes so that I can get my gumdrops all cut out. I love these gumdrops. Oh my goodness. You know the sparkle crystal glaze, crystal effects, the sparkle one would be so cute on these. Oh my goodness. Or the ice, the Stampin' Ice glitter to make them look like they're sugar coated. Whew. Maybe I'll try that later and see. All right, so let's get some stuff in here. I'm going to grab my papers now. Let's start with this 11 by 4 1/4. We're going to build this structure. Okay. All right. Now, this is the template. I built this one this morning for you. You're going to have written instruction and a picture of it on the project sheet on the blog later today. I'm scoring at 1.5, 2, 5.5, 9, 9.5, and 10. Okay, now here's an important thing. We're going to twist. We're going to score at 1/2. And this is important because this is exactly a half. So you could now, if you wanted to, if you were a smarty, you could score at 3 3/4. But if this paper was off a little bit when you trimmed, you're not going to have a 1/2 inch on this side of the box. Do you know what I'm saying? So we rotate all the way 180 degrees, and score at 1/2 again. And that ensures that this side of our box is 1/2 and this side of our box is 1/2, even if we were a smidge off when we use the paper trimmer. All right. Now the next thing we want to do is bring this accordion part of our box. This is the bottom of our box right here. We want to bring the bottom of our box out to our right hand. All right. So this accordion, this 9, 9.5, and 10 is out on our right hand. We're going to score at 3.5 till we hit that intersecting line. Then you're going to flip this 180 degrees and you're going to score. So let me show you that. We just did 3.5, then 180 degrees, and we're going to score at 7.5 just to the intersecting line. There's the base of your box. Now before we take away the Simply Score tool, we've got the pocket, and this pocket is 1.5 by 3 3/4. That's going to be on the project sheet for you. We're going to score this one at 1/4 on the 1.5 inch side, and then we're going to score it at 1/4, and then we're going to score it at 1/4 after we rotate it 180 degrees. So we've got 1/4 inch on 3 sides. Okay, let's get to building here. So the next thing you want to do with this box is work your score lines. I'm going to go with these long guys first. Now, scissors, you're going to trim out the little tabs here. Just a very, very slight angle is okay. You don't want to do too much, but we got a little dart and a little dart. So we got the score line out, liberated the tab. See that? And then we're going to do the same right here. So this is building the front pocket of our box. See that? Now, here we're going to cut out this little half score, this little partial score that we did with a little dart also. Okay, so that's the front of our box. See so far? Then down here, here's our fold. This is our halfway point. So after this halfway point, this next fold here that starts the accordion part, that's the bottom of our box. You're going to cut a little angle cut. You'll cut a little angle cut, just a small angle, and then all of this comes out. See? There you go. There's the base of your box. Now here, you're going to cut an angle, and take out the entire corner. See how you've mitered that on both sides? And then we can work these score lines too. So what we'll do here is grab a little bit of adhesive. I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue. And just a little bit in this corner here, and this one here. Now bring this up and hold these guys down. Just give it a second and let it adhere. Multi-purpose liquid glue grabs pretty quick. Gotta hold on to it. But see what you've done here now? You've made yourself a little pocket. Does a gift card help you see what's going on? That guy can get set aside. Now, let's do some adhesive on our main box. I'm going to take some tear and tape. And what we're going to do here is work first this center section. This is going to go to the inside of our box. So we're just going to use a little multi-purpose liquid glue, or to the inside of our easel. And just a little bit will do. You're going to adhere that down. So what that does is that gives you a clean, straight edge from the side of your box. You could cut that out entirely. I have before when I've done boxes like this. But because it's not going to be seen, look at how nice and clean that edge is because we folded it in. You see where we're at right now? This right here is this edge. So that's gonna make a nice clean edge. Now we can fold at that 5.5 inch line, burnish that down. Now this is our easel mechanism at the bottom, see? So we can fold that guy up and let's add some tear and tape. Now we're gonna add tear and tape there. Let me show you now again. So here's the inside. This is where we've glued in our edges. This is the inside of our box. The tape goes on the opposite side for the easel. Glue. All right, so your tabs go in here. All right. Then we're gonna lift up these guys and fold it to the outside. Did you guys notice how I folded it to the inside? I hope you're following along with me still. All right, so now this is the fold. This is the inside of our box. So we gotta bring our tabs up and around and around. All right, so we've got our tabs, we've got our open side of our box. See, there's no fold there. This is the open side of our box. We're going to add our adhesive here and here. Okay, then we'll peel this guy and bring him over from the front to the back. So we have a nice finished box. You see that? So burnish those guys down. And all the seams are now to the inside of the box. This guy right here gets folded up on the accordion. You can peel the adhesive here and just fold the pocket down to the easel. So there's our little standing box. Cute, right? Okay, so we've got the deep pocket on the front. And let's put this narrow pocket on the back. So we'll go back to our multi-purpose liquid glue, add a little bit on those edges, and we'll just set this little pocket right on the flat side. So now we've got a pocket here for our little gift card. We've got a deeper pocket for a little gingerbread. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's decorate it now. Here's the fun part. We're going to adhere our designer series paper. Yay! I'm glad that you like the project. Let's line our pocket with a little bit of designer series paper. I'm going to use my bone folder and just burnish that down. Let's line the front with some gingham. It's a cutie, isn't it? I love the contrast, the red and green and the two patterns. I think the gingham is very kitchen, and the lattice in the background reminds me of gingerbread. So I liked those patterns with this. Okay, now we used our 1 1/4 inch piece on the front pocket. We've got a 1 inch piece for the back pocket. So let's get that guy and glue him on centered in the pocket. It's all decorating now. We're almost done. Lisa says that she'll be making this for Valentine's Day. Great idea. It would be very cute for Valentine's Day. I might have to play with it for that myself. And Deborah says, which designer series paper pack is that from? It's from the 6x6 Brights designer series paper. Put a little multi-purpose liquid glue on my scallop. We're going to line the back pocket here, and again, just use your bone folder to burnish that down. Now we're all lined. Cute, right? Oh goodness. All right, we got one more little bit of stamping to do. Let me grab my ink. Have a sugar sprinkled season. Love this greeting with this particular project. And I'm going to stamp that in the center of my stitched circle. Cute. Glue it to the scallop. Now all these cutie little pieces, let's get the ink pad out of the way before I put my project in it. I am notorious. I want to show you this holly. Now the holly uses the little moose head die, so I'm kind of just so, and I want the holly to be a little bit better defined, so I'm going to go ahead with my scissors and just bring this in a little bit. You could do this step or not, that's up to you. I like to define that a little bit, and I'm going to glue the holly to the sugar sprinkled season. Let's get some dimensionals here and put this on the box. I'm going to cut up my dimensionals and use some halves. Now you don't want to go too high on this guy because it is a little bit taller than the pocket. So I got 2 halves here. Turn it the right side. And I went for off center. I wanted my holly all right, so I'm going to add a little bit of dimensional just on one side of the holly here, and then pop that over the circle. Kind of dry fit it. Did you see how I did that? And then I'll put it in next to my greeting, and then add a bit of multi-purpose liquid glue just to support that holly. See that? So there's the pocket side, the gift card pocket. Now let's decorate the front side. I'm going to grab this long edge of my dimensionals. I like this for this gingerbread guy, and cut it right in half. And I'm going to run one along the bottom here, and I'm going to run one with about 3/4 of an inch gap. See that? Peel those off, and I want my little house off center because we've got 3 gumdrops, so it's going to make it fun to add these little gumdrops. So this guy, we're going to add a little dimensional on the extreme edge of our gumdrop, and we'll kind of nestle it right up next to our house. And then we're going to take our little Poppy Parade gumdrop. We're going to put this one on with flat adhesive. It's going to give a fun little dimensional look to the front of our box. Just slide it right back behind. Then another half dimensional. This time we're going to put it on the back right side. Oh, sorry. I'm all backwards today. We need it on the back left side of our gumdrop because when we flip it over, it's going to go over our house a little bit. So it'll be supported by the house. See that? Add that guy in there. I like the little angles. I don't mind that it extends off the side of the box a little bit. I love the dimension that that gives. And there it is. There's our little, I don't know, gift card easel is what I was calling it. Put our little cookie inside. Little gift card in the back pocket. There it is. What do you guys think? If you've got any questions about the project, you can reach out to me anytime, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. If you still want to get Yummy Christmas or Itty Bitty Christmas into your collection before the holiday catalog retires, you can buzz over to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching today. Have a good weekend, everybody.